Dr. Corsi, thank you for joining us. I really want to hear about the WND exclusive on Obama's AG nominee and the connection to these banking scandals. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Corsi.
Great. This is going to be a big issue, I believe. The scandal with HSBC involves, I first got the information from the whistleblower in 2012, John Cruz, who has 1,000 pages of account documents out of the bank, which we publish, showing that HSBC was involved in billions of dollars of money laundering throughout the United States. It's a network-wide scam, and they were laundering drug cartel from Mexico money, and they were laundering money for the terrorist organizations in the Middle East. And Loretta Lynch, who is the U.S. attorney for Eastern District of New York, let the bank get off scot-free with a settlement in which she accepted $1.9 billion. Sounds like a lot of money, but for a bank like HSBC, that maybe is 5 days operating profit. And nobody got prosecuted. They were engaging in massive identity theft, stealing identities, running this money through, billions of dollars running through, all crooked money. And, I mean, it'd be like Loretta Lynch killed people. I mean, this is the money that ended up in the hands of drug lords, running drugs across the border in the hands of terrorists. And the Department of Justice knew what was going on and allowed HSBC to get, HSBC is Hong Kong Shanghai Bank. They're headquartered in London. They're an international bank, one of the biggest in the world, all through the United States. And the bank all through the United States was involved in the scam. And hundreds of bank officers, we estimate, were involved in the scam, and they all got away with no prosecution.
Right. My understanding about this particular scandal to which Loretta Lynch is connected is that it was remarkably old school, and that as many as trillions or thousands of billions of dollars were involved in wire transfers, sort of, bags of money, that it was really just quite obviously a vast criminal network enterprise, sort of right out of a movie, and nothing ever happened. The auditors themselves seem to have been in league with the banks, and it was perhaps one of the greatest displays in recent memory of just how powerless the American people are when it comes to these all-powerful banks that seem to operate so often extra-legally, and when they get into trouble, we have to bail them out. Would you say that's right, Dr. Corsi?
Well, yes. I mean, the average person, you get somebody running a laundromat, they've got orders they have to bring into the bank from the machine, and they get caught for money laundering because they structure payments. They're coming in with under $10,000 payments. The Department of Justice confiscates their bank accounts, doesn't let them have their own money, and that's fine. But if you're a HSBC, and frankly, let me explain what HSBC was doing. Now, I called up people. We had the account records. It's somebody 85, 86 years old in New York City and run businesses in the garment district. I said to him, "Sir, is this your Social Security number?" He said, "Yes." "How'd you get it?" I said, "Well, HSBC." I said, "You've got maybe 150 bank accounts here that HSBC has been running maybe $40, $50 million through in the last 6 weeks." He was shocked. He said, "That's all you're going to get from my lawyer." Lawyer called me. I thought I was trying to scam him or something. I said, "Look, I'm going to send you over the record." He said, I went to see where this business was supposed to be. It was a building in downtown New York, and there was no business there. So the HSBC, this gentleman, 80-something years old, had been a customer of the bank. They took his name. They took his Social Security number. They created 100 accounts in his name. They ran hundreds of millions of dollars through these. They closed the accounts, didn't tell him, and, made money in the process moving drug money from Mexico and terrorist money through the U.S. system to undisclosed international directions. You'd see the money wired into these accounts, wired out of the account, You knew it was going internationally, but you didn't know where it was going.
This is so reminiscent of what we saw right after 9/11 with Crédit Agricole Indo-Suez and a number of other banks. I'm not sure who knows what or what it's safe to talk about, but just plain old school wrong money laundering. What is the Loretta Lynch connection in layman's terms, so we can understand and so we can know what the future holds for us with regard to Loretta Lynch, who seems to be made of Teflon?
Well, first of all, Loretta Lynch was the one who was named at the settlement as the U.S. attorney who was responsible for getting the settlement of this case. And
right.
She is
no
one
prosecutions.
No prosecution. A slap on the wrist fine. Sounds like a lot of money, $1.9 billion. This big bank, John Cruz, the whistleblower, told me early on they'd already reserved $2 billion to pay this fine. They were more than happy to pay the fine as long as nobody went to jail. Everything continued as business as normal. And Loretta Lynch said she didn't even bring the whistleblower in to look at his record. They did this all while the bank was not sufficiently vigilant, as if it were a bad bank in Mexico. It was working with some, check cashers. Frankly, what you had here is you had Mexican drug cartels, which does them no good to have a semi-truck full of $100 bills. They bring the money into the bank, HSBC, in Mexico. They make it electronic. They burn the money. HSBC then electronically transfers this money here to there to another one, all through their system. So you can't, through bogus accounts, stolen.
Well, listen, you've got to get to the story when it breaks on WND.com, and we'll tell you about it. Our guest is Dr. Corsi, author of No Greater Valor, probably the most important history of the Siege of Bastogne. You certainly can find today No Greater Valor. Dr. Jerome Corsi has been our guest here at 1590 WCGO.